everybody. Welcome to Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by mega promoter and IFBB judge Tarek Elgindi.
Thank you, Tim. Great to have you back here. Great to have Chris Cormier back.
Thank you, my brother.
I can't live without you guys. After doing this show for so many weeks, I'm actually going to say something. I miss you guys.
I missed you too.
Let's lock eyes, just like you did with Flex Wheeler.
This is a magical moment. We're gonna take all this in and bask before they go at each other in just a minute. But as we do that, we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that's coming up in 2023. The Masters Olympia is coming back. I was very lucky to have hosted that for probably about 5 years when Vince Taylor was on his historic run. But it's coming back for the second half of 2023, and we're thinking Bucharest, Romania.
So it will happen in 2023, Bucharest, Romania, either in August or October. So it's yet to confirm. But I got to tell you, I've been to Romania twice. And it's one of the best places in Europe to promote a bodybuilding show. The airport is great. It's convenient. And my friend Alina Popa, she leads the charge in Romania, and she does an amazing job. If you have not been to one of the Romanian shows, we're talking about Romania Muscle Fest, Valahia. We're talking about the Olympia Amateur. I've actually judged 2 of those shows, and all the European competitors go to Romania. And we had American competitors flying to Europe because, you know, they want to see Dracula, and the hotels we stayed at, the JW Marriott is one of the best hotels I've ever stayed. So I'm talking about an experience of a lifetime for competitors to go there, compete, and possibly bring family members because it's one of my favorite places on earth.
Hall of Fame bodybuilder, real deal Chris Cormier. We're talking about Masters wellness for women will be 40 and up. For men, the bodybuilders will be 45 and up. Who do you know in that range that you would say are the odds-on favorite if they make the choice to go over there?
Kamal has to be one of the best conditioned and youngest muscle-looking guy with his mature muscle all in one at this time in the world right now.
I think he's 52 or 53 this year, which is beyond impressive.
Yes, I got a chance to see him close up and doing some posing at the gym out there in Florida, and I'm telling you, man, he was definitely impressive. I was looking for him to possibly win that title at the Tampa Pro.
That was close between him and Akeem.
Yes, he did not, but just close up. I mean, I just told him, I walked into him and said, that's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's bodybuilding.
That was beautiful. And then, of course, a couple weeks later in Texas, things looked drastically different for Kamal. But let's talk about this, guys. The superstars of our sport that are potentially 45 and up. You know, Dexter could be sitting around with Gail thinking, you know, Gail's probably thinking, you know, you got places you could go earn a paycheck. Who else might say, hey, this is something I want to hold this title. I'd like the check, and I'd like to still be competing.
Well, Tim, you're right. And you mentioned the name of the guy that everybody's thinking about. And his name is Dexter the Blade Jackson. When Dexter sees that on the schedule, he sees the payout. He sees the opportunity of coming back and displaying one more time. Remember, Dexter is one of the old school competitors. When he did the New York Pro, he did it because it was one of the few shows that he hadn't won. So for Dexter Jackson, is more than just a title. It's a title that he doesn't have. And if you know the Blade, and Chris probably knows him better up close, the guy is still hungry. I wouldn't doubt he comes back. And if he comes back and he's on stage against Kamal and some of the other guys, it's going to be a sight to be seen.
Will Hadi Chupan be old enough? Brandon Curry. Brandon, I know, is in his 40s. He'll be 43, 44 this year? No?
I don't think Brandon is going to be over 45. I think Hadi is not over 45. I think Hadi is actually a little bit younger. But we're talking about, I think, maybe Phil Klahar, right?
Oh.
He did a good job in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I think he might be a little bit over or maybe right about that. So Phil Klahar can bring some of the heat. And listen, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the crazy old dogs come back. I heard Dennis James might make a comeback. Chris Cormier might come out of the gate storming and make a comeback.
Vince Taylor still.
He's very active still.
Yeah.
But Dexter is extremely active for a guy in retirement. He kind of just took like a week off and then continued to train. I don't know about the flavor of food he might choose to get back up there because I know he was having a tough time chunking down fish towards the end there. But maybe he can come back with all the shakes or something.
I'm going to mention one name. I'm going to mention one name here. And I'm okay dealing with the consequences. There's a guy who is 47 years old, and he likes to be involved in the bodybuilding industry. He loves the bodybuilding industry. He was a former Mr. Olympia. And this guy's in tremendous shape. If he gets into a prep, he can make history.
Who's that?
Hey, maybe Jay Cutler can go there and show the world. Jay loves to be involved in the sport. Jay loves to be involved in the sport.
Let's give him a call.
If Jay Cutler does a prep and comes back and teaches Dexter Jackson a final lesson, oh man, oh man.
Hey.
I'll be in Romania waiting for both of them.
I may grab the second bat in the morning and fly over there myself.
That's what Jay says. Man, I just love to be involved. I want to continue to be involved. And this is an opportunity for him to possibly go back on stage. Now, Jay is a massive strategist. You know, everything he does in his career is well calculated. So if he does a prep and he goes into the Masters Olympia, he's going to win. And Dexter, he feels very confident that he would be the guy to beat. Kamau is the guy who's active, so he can possibly just beat everybody because he's been active. But there's a lot of speculations about some of the old school guys coming back. Chris, for how much money would you come back? Let's talk about a supplement company coming to you right now.
I need some good sponsorships. I'm going to need...
You could fly to Kuwait.
Yeah, I had to go and... I'd have to lock myself down and put the preparation in, make sure I'm getting my proper check-ins and everything, and it's a possibility.
No, Chris, let's suppose a supplement company comes up to you, offers a hefty amount of money. Who would you pick as your coach for this prep?
I would train with Dorian and possibly...
Dorian looking insane, too. He could go back.
Possibly, I don't know, Chad or Chris, somebody like that. Maybe in Bulletproof, get him on the team or something. But yeah, I could see that.
Well, now I remember the days, Jantana had the Jantana Classic and Masters Mr. Olympia. And I started emceeing that, I think, around 99. Vince started that run. But you had guys from their 40s up to their 60s that were the old school guys that looked incredible. You've got to make that move. If you're there, and they're constantly, you got these shows like North Americans going on right now, Masters Nationals, and they're crowning these new Masters pros, and there's only a few Masters Pro qualifiers, like Daytona. Chris Mins has the shows out in Tahoe, where these guys want a show to get to for a circuit to get to the Masters Olympia and be part of an Olympia heritage. There's some guys out there that are floating around that look incredible, that could make that stage like it used to be back in the 2000s.
Tim, you mentioned a great point. There's a lot of people turning pro. The North Americans at the Masters USA's Masters Nationals. Those are incredible competitors over the age of 40, 45, and 50. They want to be at the Masters Olympia in Bucharest, Romania. They want to prove something. Yourself, you competed. You did a great job. You know, you win a pro show. You want to be there and compete yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I mean, I think we wouldn't miss competitors. But talking about the favorites, I think some of the old school guys would still dominate. When you talk about muscle maturity, you know, Kamau and Dexter Jackson over the guys that are recently turning pro, I would give them the edge, but everything is possible.
You talk about bringing any of these guys out of retirement, Dexter, Jay, any of the big names, as the Masters Olympia did in the past. Bringing these guys out of retirement, the fans, I would hope you would go ballistic and the fans would just come out in droves to see these guys back in a prep and looking their
Dennis
best.
James, we see Dennis James here on the studio. Dennis looks incredible. He looks unbelievable. He gets on a diet and he does a prep. Dennis James could, you know, shock the world.
Jimmy Mentis.
You know?
Jimmy Mentis is looking incredible. He's down, I think, 240, 250, and he could step on that stage in 6 to 8 weeks.
Absolutely. We're looking at some of the most, you know, I don't know how old Flex Lewis is, but Flex Lewis wanted to come back in the original Olympia. If he is over 45, which I think he might be pretty close to 45, that would be a tremendous show for him to come back.
Yes, I would say that'd be incredible to see Flex to get back up there. Flex Lewis, of course. Dennis James, I would have to help him with those legs, I think. Get those legs stimulated.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He knows that. He knows it. We talk about it all the time. But yeah, I think it'd be an incredible story, and I think it'd be excitement for the fans.
You got to get up. if we do this, we got to push you in that direction.
I think you need to look at the camera. Can we get the camera on Chris right now?
Right over there.
Because if you back down, Chris, let's make that publicly. And if you man up, we want to make that publicly.
We know Jake.
Go, baby, let's go. I'll do it.
You do it?
Yep.
Give me the pen. I'll sign right now.
All right. Chris Cormier.
All right.
Give me the pen.
We've got Chris. We got
Jake in here.
We got a great Masters Olympia lineup coming up for you in 2023, the latter half of 2023 in Bucharest, Romania. We hope to see you there or enjoying it on the pay-per-view. And we've got more great primetime muscle coming back. We're going to be talking about Gabriel Andreuli and Harold Kelly and other competitors that are overcoming great obstacles to bring their very best physiques to the stage of competition when we come back with Primetime Muscle. We're back with more Primetime Muscle, and after a spirited chat about the Masters Olympia coming up in 2023, we're very excited to remind you, if you're gearing up for that, looking to qualify, it will be all classes. So we're very excited about that across the spectrum, 45 years old and up for all the classes, with the exception of one, and that is women's wellness. It's a relatively new class. We're excited to see the entire field, and go ahead, if you haven't already qualified, get that pro card, get out there and get that pro win, and we look forward to seeing you next year in Bucharest. Now, guys, one of my other favorite classes, the heart and soul that goes into wheelchair. And Harold Kelly has been on a historic run, both with the Arnold and especially at the Olympia. Is this the year that he gets dethroned by, say, Gabriel Andreuli, who's having a great year?
Well, go ahead, Chris. I got so excited.
I'm going to have to go with the king. I mean, I would say he'll be really tough to beat if he's focused on. He has a lot of adventures outside of bodybuilding. He's in the trucking business and everything like that. But I think for the most part, I mean, he is still the king, and I think it's hard to dethrone the king.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with my friend Chris Cormier, because at the Arnold Classic, Gabriele Andreuli beat Harold Kelly.
This year?
Yes, this year.
He's still
I don't know where you guys were. You guys were probably at the club while I was there watching the show and judging. But anyways, Gabriele Andreuli beat Harold Kelly at the Arnold. And if you look at both of their physiques, Harold is bigger. There's no doubt. And Harold has been able to beat competitors that even were more conditioned.
He hasn't been challenged in years,
well,
Terry.
Chris, he just lost at the Arnold.
But he hasn't been challenged.
Where were you? Were you at the club or something?
I'm saying he probably wasn't as focused.
You know, inhaling
I'm saying he is a champion. He's probably not focused.
You know,
I'm a Masters competitor. I was probably asleep.
Challenged. He just lost the Arnold.
You don't know anything about focus, Terry.
You know, so guys, get the camera back here with me.
You're pushing a pin.
Since I was
We're in the gym, you're pushing a pin.
I was paying attention to the show while Chris Cormier was having some super rush. Anyways, guys, Gabriele Andreuli, amazing competitor from Italy, goes to the Arnold Classic and beats Harold Kelly, who is the current Mr. Olympia. Now, for anybody to say that he's not going to be challenged, that's a mistake. And I'm not surprised by you making a mistake, but he already beat him at the Arnold. So the chances of him beating him again are pretty good.
I said he
We're not
probably
talking
wasn't
about
focused.
Ronnie Coleman that has gone undefeated for 5 years. We're talking about a guy who's an amazing competitor. I love him, but he just lost the Arnold to Gabrielli.
Mistake.
Now the Arnold can be a precursor, like we've often say, to the Olympia. You know, as goes the Arnold, so goes your Olympia at times. But Harold is on, what, his 5th or 6th year as in?
5th.
Okay.
5th. Let's go back to the physiques, okay?
Yes.
Harold is a massive bodybuilder. He's like the big Rami of wheelchair.
Exactly.
He's big. He's got round muscle bellies. He's a tremendous bodybuilder. Has he beaten guys in previous Mr. Olympias that were more conditioned than him? Yes, he beat them.
Yes.
But at the Arnold Classic, Gabriele Andriuli closed the gap on the size. He got bigger. And then he beat him on the conditioning. And that's why he surpassed Harold. Harold is going to have to tighten up just a little bit. Now, pay close attention to this name, Bradley Betts. Bradley Betts won a show in Texas. And he's a competitor that has an amazing shape. Good-looking guy. Looks like a Superman. And he is somebody that if he's on the rise, you know, I mean, Harold is maybe up there, but Bradley Betts is one of the competitors that's on the rise and he can make a move. But I think in the end it's going to be a battle between Gabriele and Harold. And like I said, Chris is absolutely wrong. This is going to be a battle. It's not Harold Kelly winning the whole thing.
Well, we certainly appreciate the challenges that every wheelchair competitor brings to the stage to bring those amazing physiques. And we also look to other competitors with various other challenges. Everybody has a challenge to get on stage and to be their very best. But we've had recently, I had an NPC competitor who was deaf, Cheryl Mears, who's a pro, who just had her first pro win. I believe Cheryl won in Tampa with she's undergone a lot of health issues, was actually on stage with her colostomy bag, and a blind, I think he's a Masters or a classic physique pro.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Chris, you were there in Chicago. Do you remember that competitor?
Yes, I do. He was very good. He was, you know, walking out, I even spoke with him, took a photo with him backstage, and he was like, you know, overcame tremendous obstacles in life. And just having a small chat with him backstage, it was pretty incredible just to hear the excitement that he had to get on the stage. He looked great. I mean, he had a battle up there with another Masters competitor who's actually from here, from Arizona, who's actually going to come out to California to do some training and coming back and forth. He's actually in California right now because I saw him before I was leaving to come here. But he, I mean, those guys are very tough competitors, but like I say, it's just tremendous to see. Like normally when you're bodybuilding, you can see yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror all the time, something he cannot do. So, yeah, I mean, I can imagine how tough that would be to have that going against you when you're trying to bodybuild.
You're so big on the mind-muscle connection. I would imagine so much that we are looking in the mirror, seeing are we activating, but they actually have to feel that connection to make that. And I can't know if that's a benefit or.
He must have a tremendous mind-muscle connection because he is a built cat. He is no joke. He's nobody to take lightly when you come to competition. And like I say, with his military background and everything, I think he's a tough competitor.
You judge all over the world. What's the variety of these hardcore competitors you're seeing? So,
Tim, I want to share a story that happened to me in Brazil. We had a competitor. He is, blind. He can't see, and that's since birth. And he was in the bodybuilding division, and he actually won the lightweight class. He won that class. And then we brought him in with the other guys that won their classes for the overall. And as all of them faced us, judges, I said, quarter turn to your right. And he was the only competitor that turned to the right. All the other competitors turned to the left. So then, I'm used to judging. I said, guys, please look at me. And they all looked at me, including him. He turned back and faced me. And then I said, guys, quarter turn to your right. I just made a signal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was the only guy that not only did he make the right quarter turn, but even when the judge said, hey, look at me, and obviously, I didn't mean to, but he was like, I understand what he's saying. Let me turn to the judges again. So like Chris said, sometimes you don't have the vision. Sometimes you don't have the hearing, but your other senses develop so much. This is a competitor that's on stage. He can't see anything, but he's listening so well to what the judges are saying that he's not making any mistake. And if he's at the gym and he can't see his bicep growing, he really has to have that crazy muscle-mind connection. And you got to give praise to these guys.
As a coach, you get every excuse. And then you have to look at these competitors with actual obstacles that don't let them get in the way, that step on stage their very best, and look back at your clients and go, look at that guy right there. Do you think he's worried about missing his third and fourth meal? Do you think he skipped it all? I mean, doesn't that inspire you, and shouldn't it inspire everybody to see people that are working that extra step?
I think it's a huge inspiration to all, because just like I said, overcoming, a lot of people think that, like you said, missing a meal, or that a fight with their girlfriend, or they had some type of mishap, can't pay a bill that month or whatever. But there's so many people have so many huge, real obstacles to overcome to be involved in the sport, and they're loving every minute of it. You got to, give praise to those athletes.
Well, I am excited as always to see Harold and see Gabriele
Andriuli.
Gabriele. I just wanted you to say it because you say it.
Gabriele
so
Andriuli. Andriuli.
There was, and I do love every story behind every competitor in the wheelchair division at the Olympia. Doing the research every year on the competitors and finding out what it is they're still doing, the other ventures they have, and all the things that they're adding to the fact that training is just a little more difficult for some of these guys. Cardio, the entire process of doing what we at times take for granted as competitors, is an extra step. I used to train with someone out in LA that was one of the top back in the day, and it was an extra step, but he still managed mentally and physically to run circles around me. So
a lot of them don't have a problem sharing what happened to them. And, it was a car accident. It was this that caused my body, to lose response. Bradley Betts, who took third at the Arnold, he was a formidable baseball player. He was just one of the best guys coming up in Texas. And unfortunately, he lost the response on his lower half. And this is one of the guys that you just love to be around. Every time I see him at a show, he's the happiest guy there. He's so excited to be there. And like Chris said, is 100% pure inspiration. Those guys did not give themselves one reason to quit, to fail, and they're now teaching us a lesson of motivation.
Yes, I had, Tarek, a lot of back issues with my L4, L5 being fused. I had a spinal infection to where I was like, I had to learn to walk again. I was a step away from being in a wheelchair, and just understanding the dynamic of the importance of the spinal cord. And some of these guys had, training through that. That's something that's so amazing to me. I can get emotional about it because it just brings me back.
We almost lost you with that one.
Yeah, I was close to it, and I just feel like it's just incredible to have and it's a testament for the IFBB Pro League to be able to have these athletes, or allow these athletes to have a stage to have and to shine and to feel like some type of goal you can go against. I'm about to get emotional right now.
Well, we hope that each and every one of their stories inspires you, and we hope you'll be tuning into the Olympia to catch that wheelchair division and see them do battle as they do every year. And we've got more great primetime muscle when we come back.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
And we're back with more Primetime Muscle, talking wellness, a very popular category that's rising in popularity by the day across the world, actually, especially in South America, and one of its very best. Last year at the Olympia, really shined, guys. As you say it, Francielle Mattos.
You said it perfectly, Tim. Let's see if Chris can do it.
Francielle Mattos.
Yeah, Chris. You impressed me right now.
You're feeling me now?
You impressed me right now. The Louis Vuitton Don coming through with a Brazilian accent. Well, here's one thing that most people don't know about Francielle Mattos. Francielle Mattos has been married for 18 years.
American? 18 years American.
Yeah. She's been married quite a long time. She has 2 kids. She's a full-time mom, taking her kids to school. She actually, there's videos on Olympia TV, by the way, huge plug here on Olympia TV, videos of her, homework with her kids, taking her kids to activity, and she also happens to be the best competitor of wellness in the world. It's just incredible what this woman has been capable of doing. She's a huge inspiration in Brazil. A lot of the women, the wellness competitors, really love her. She's really nice, really sweet. And she's a full-time mom. And she's going to the Olympia stage and shocking the world.
Was last year the first year the Olympia had wellness?
Correct, yes. It was the first year. And, you had amazing top 3. It was Francielle Mattos, Angela Borges, who's a phenomenal competitor, and Isa Pereira, who won the Arnold this year. They were on the top 3. You're talking about 3 incredible competitors. The winner had the chance to do a posing routine at the big stage on Saturday, and Francielle Mattos won the show, and then on Saturday she just came to do her posing routine, and man,
I know Chris is excited about this part. So we have some pictures, and it's not like we're going to critique Francielle Mattos, but let's go back here and just walk through the perfection of the ideal wellness physique. So if this is the category you're saying, you know what, my lower half is too big for bikini, too small for physique or figure, maybe you're ideally shaped for wellness. This is what it's supposed to look like. Oh!
The boom.
Yes.
All right.
Sir?
Well,
show us from the side there, from the calves to the hams to the glutes, what is the perfect wellness physique?
Well, you can't help but see the tiny joints in her ankles, which letting those calves really pop. Nice developed calves. I like to see calves on a wellness competitor. She's coming up to the glutes, showing it, and I like the way she's angled nicely in this form and fashion, where she can also look over her shoulder at the judges, get some personality in there. But you see the glutes, man, the hair coming all the way down to the top of that suit right there. And look at the shape. I saw her close up backstage. You did also.
Yeah.
And I know we spoke about this in another topic day, but I'm just telling you, just close up, you could just see the classic muscle. The development. It's a lot of work, you could see, but to be a mom on top of all of this, to be a mom of 2, and then that's I just learned that today from Tarek here.
Now, Tarek, this is a category a division that really is perfectly suited to people from South America, especially Brazil. Brazilians have dominated this out of the gate. As both a judge, IFBB pro judge, and a Brazilian, what goes into the perfect, is it striations? Is it, what shape, what development, what are we looking for in wellness that she exemplifies?
So let me go back to the Brazilian culture and the mentality. Brazilian girls do not like to be thin. This whole thing about, I want to be a thin model does not work in Brazil. Brazilian girls like to have full glutes and full legs. They like to put some jeans and show that they have curves. It's part of their pride. And if you really look scientifically, a woman that has large hips, full glutes, that means that they're going to give good birth. You know, so a lot of times people think that's a negative when actually it's a positive. So the category started in the around 2005, 2006, and there was a person who was very important in that process. His name was Antonio Vilhena. He actually worked with us in the IFBB Pro League when we got to Brazil. Unfortunately, he's passed away recently, and I would have loved for him to see the wellness, but he was the guy that came up with the idea of wellness, and the category became very popular. When the NPC Worldwide expanded in Brazil, we decided to do a model search, and many people were fundamental to that participation of the wellness competitors.
It was you, Sandy Williamson.
Sandy Williamson. Tyler was there on the first cheer. Sandy Williamson was there. JM was there. All of us were there. Steve Weinberg was at the first Arnold. He judged the division. I asked him, Steve, what do you think? He goes, I love it. It's incredible. And then it turned out to be a solid division that women like to compete. Going to the physique, we're talking about a unbalanced physique. We're not balanced here. When you look at bodybuilding, upper half and lower half, you have to match the development you have on top with the bottom. This is the opposite here. You're not supposed to have an overdeveloped upper body, but you're supposed to have an overdeveloped lower body. So you're talking about possibly a bikini/figure competitor on top, and you're talking about a wellness women's physique figure lower half, you know, right in the middle.
Yeah.
And one of the things about Francielle Mattos is she has a small waist, a little bit large clavicle bones. She doesn't open her lats that much to make it very women's physique. But I talked to her coach. He said she has tremendous ability to gain muscle. And a lot of times he holds her back because her metabolism is like, I want to get bigger.
What I wouldn't get for that problem just once in my life.
I mean, look at these glutes, Tim.
They're phenomenal and so perfect for her frame.
You know, and there's all this thing about implants in the United States, people getting implants. These what glutes should look like. You see the indentation coming down and going into the hamstrings, what we call the teardrop. This is just pure perfection. The development on the quads, she's got the hair, the red bikini. This woman is sensational.
Now, Chris, looking at the quads, they're beautifully shaped. They're big, a little glute off to the side there, but on that right quad that's tucked back in there, there's enough separation but not striation. I mean, what a balance.
Right. And to me, he looks like an hourglass here. So the nice small waist. I like the shoulder balance she has there in her physique. And like you said, the side glute showing from the front. I mean, nice quads and calves, the beautiful face and smile, the hair, the accessories, the jewelry and everything. I think this is she was looking like a straight champion.
Now, you both talk about unbalanced upper to lower body, but guys, and larger clavicles, guys, those shoulders, those delts are popped out perfectly. I mean, there's enough, they're rounded, but they're not overbearing. I see where you're saying she's tucking her lat in so there's not a big flare with that width of a men's physique competitor. But it really is still a beautifully balanced upper body, just not top to bottom.
Correct,
and
yes.
the arms are not overly big, and that's one thing I keep harping on, but I just don't like to see a wellness girl with like really big arms and then they, trying to have this look that's going to be a winner's look for wellness.
Well, guys, I also want to give credit to the president of the IFBB Pro League and the NPC Worldwide. Everybody is benefiting from this category, from judges to promoters to athletes, because Jim Mannion is a CEO, a leader that likes to innovate. A lot of people are not open to changes, right? For you to change something in an organization is like huge bureaucracy. But Jim is always open to see new things, to implement new things. The wellness is another great success story, just like the men's physique, just like the bikini, and that's why I say and you can quote me on that one, this is the golden age of bodybuilding, where competitors from all over the world in different categories can display their talent.
Well, I certainly applaud their curves and the conditioning they bring, and I think we're going to have a very interesting year. Do you think, an Angela Borges, Isa Pereira, do you think they can dethrone Francielle Mattos this year?
Well, again, this is all speculation. We don't know how they're going to look. I'm going to give you guys a little insight. Angela Borges and Francielle Mattos do not like each other. That is a fact. And I'll tell you this. Angela Borges was a dominant competitor, and she beat Francielle Mattos for many years. There was a group text message, where people are saying for Francielle, I think she had placed second or third at a show. Next time you did great, they're congratulating. And then Francielle Mattos texts back and say, next time, guys, I will win. And Angela Borges is on the group text and said, maybe not. And that's when the separation started. That's a famous occasion that happened. And that's when they went apart. They do not like each other. There's tension between both of them. Isa Pereira gets along with both of them. But Angela Borges is one of the greatest competitors of all time. She won a lot of titles. She can come back and she can dethrone her. Now, Isa Pereira just won the Arnold. This is going to be a battle for the ages.
Well, it is going to be interesting. We'll regain our seats for the wrap on this, but we're excited to see all the divisions, all that wellness is bringing. We're going to see some very interesting people coming up as well in the last few shows that I've had the opportunity to MC. Some stunning wellness competitors that could give any of them a run on.
Sunny Andrews.
Sunny Andrews. Down in Texas, I saw her at one of the shows earlier in the year and just crushed. And that was a stacked field. Everybody, that class was very big.
Bruna Seredic just won a show. You have Karen Brindle. This is going to be a battle for the ages.
It is indeed. And that battle for the ages will be taking place December 15th to the 18th in Las Vegas. The Olympia is quickly selling out, and we look forward to having you there. The expo is going to be phenomenal, bigger than ever for the Olympia. And again, all that is December 15th to the 18th, and information can be found at MrOlympia.com. If you love the show, you want more, here we come. Follow us, like us, share, subscribe, and definitely follow us on Instagram for the shenanigans that go on before, during, and after the show. Chris, always a pleasure. Chris Cormier, the real deal, Hall of Fame bodybuilder. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And I don't have you.
Yeah.
Somebody has you. Lots of people have you, and we're proud of you, Chris. I just took Tarek's line.
Yeah, I got
Tarek Elgindy, mega promoter and IFBB pro judge. Great to see you as always.
Always great to see you, Tim.
And Tim Wilkins, ringmaster of this awesome circus. We'll see you next time on Primetime Muscle.